Hey everyone, it's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast, and I want to talk about the future, possibly next 4 years, of what the comic book industry is going to be like. If imagine for a moment that you're someone like Dan Slott, you work in comics, you're a very powerful person that works in comics, and you probably get paid very, very well to write comic books. Not only that, you also have the convenience of having all of your entertainment reflect your politics. Uh, Everybody that you see in real life has your same politics, which is why you are shocked if you ever find a Trump supporter that works in comics, and you will make their life absolutely miserable uh, if you find out. Not only that, you could also have the convenience of blocking all of your fans who disagree. That's why I'm here in an incognito window, despite having purchased a lot of Dan Slott's books in the past. Uh, Imagine that. Imagine that uh, all of Hollywood agrees with you. Uh, all of big tech agrees with you, and they're catering to your whims and desires. And now, finally, your life is complete. You also have control of the presidency, even though that's kind of how elections work. Presidents change over time, but in this case, you finally have everything you've ever wanted, and you're just like this happy little puppy because here you go. Imagine not thinking about him for one day or even a week. Oh, you don't have to sit and obsess over the one person that disagrees with you, the one thing that you couldn't control. Now, you'd think if you are a Trump supporter or a conservative working in comics that life is going to get a little bit better for you. I'm here to tell you that it is not. I actually was hoping that things would calm down because the last 4 years you've had to endure the screeching of people like Dan Slott in the comic book industry because they got themselves worked up into a frenzy over fascism. And if you step back and think about that a little bit, about how silly that is, how much time do you have to spend on social media to convince yourself that you were living through a fascist regime, and then now people are calling for war crimes to be punishable, and it is going to get weird. And I will show you why. I will show you how all of this has happened. I'm not being a conspiracy theorist. I'd love nothing more than just to move on. But in this case, life is not going to get better, and that's because the same conditions that were at work convincing, group of people convincing each other that there are fascists and secret Nazis trying to destroy the world. Those same people and those same conditions still exist. They still live in this echo chamber, and it's going to continue down this path. Something has got to change if it's going to get any better. You're going to have to chill out at some point. All right, so we're going to get into that. First, I got to do, like a good creator here, is promote my books. Fatal is one of the best looking books you're going to see on Indiegogo. Check this out, and not just on Indiegogo, anywhere in comics. Help us out. We want to hit that 90K stretch goal. We are slowly climbing. I think we got a backer since I refreshed this, actually. Slowly climbing 1,669. We could get to 1,670 backers for the next person to jump in there. And then also Downcast Rise and Falls on Indiegogo. And I'm selling off these unsigned versions of Volume 1, as well as we do have original art for sale. All right. So I'm telling you right now, there are people that are calling for reparations of sorts. If you supported Trump, you should be blacklisted. If you supported Trump, you should, in some cases, be prosecuted, believe it or not. To give you some context here, we're going to look at Neon a little bit of Clownfish TV and see what he has to say. Here's a little bit of context. So, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, who is a far left representative, it says candidate here, but I'm pretty sure she won her seat again. She got reelected. She says, is anyone archiving these Trump sycophants for when they try to downplay or deny their complicity in the future? I foresee a descent probably of many deleted tweets, writings, photos in the future. So we need to archive it because they ought to be held accountable. So here we go. Here's another response here. Yes, we are. The Trump Accountability Project. Apparently, this is a real thing. Every administrator administration staffer, campaign staffer, bundler, lawyer who represented them, everyone. So even if for some reason, if you were if you were a lawyer that you were defending a criminal, one that even was accused, like the worst possible criminal, and you were their lawyer, you are off the hook because that's what lawyers do. But in this case, if you were Trump's lawyer, you will be held accountable. Now, if it was just that, if it just was, which by the way was not what AOC said, she was just saying anybody, Trump sycophants, you could apply that to anybody that you want to. But in this case, it's being applied to any Trump supporter, and it's going to continue to spread like this. So Neon was talking about libertarians and how he's surprised that Jorgensen only got 1 to 2% of the vote, given that so many people are fed up with the two-party system. But it came down to everybody desperately not wanting the other person's candidate to get in. And so here we go. He said this election was really Trump versus not Trump and socialism versus not socialism. A lot of people on the left not thrilled with Biden. He's pretty moderate, but he's not Trump. Alternatively, some people on the right might not like Trump, but he's not socialism. Just my opinion. And then here's a response here. Hard disagree. This was fascism versus democracy. If you believe that what you experienced in the last 4 years was fascism, I'd have to ask you why the 4 years before that or the 4 years before that was not fascism. What was so different that made this fascism? I think it's because you live in an echo chamber. Just like Dan Slott. You're used to breathing in each other's hyperbole until it becomes the air around you. All right. True, but there's a two-party system that encourages fascist behavior from both sides. All right. So here's Neon. There's a call for blacklists and more censorship from the left. I can't get on board with that. Doesn't mean I like Trump either. What blacklist and censorship are you talking about? This is how it goes. First, there's denial that anything would be like this would happen. And then in the very next tweet, there'll be full-throated endorsement for blacklisting and censorship. Okay, so he posted what I just showed you about AOC and demanding accountability from Trump sycophants, however you want to, define that. And Neon continues, blacklists, unofficial, so blacklists are unofficial, also exist in the entertainment industry to keep track of anyone suspected of being a Trump supporter or even just a conservative. Look at how media and Twitter tried to deplatform Chris Pratt for being a non-committal about his politics. That's right. All he had to do was just not show up on the Biden shill stream. That's all he had to do, and everyone wanted him to be destroyed. Okay, so here's the response. Don't contact these people, please. Please don't contact them. All right, this person says, people who are racist a-holes and supported Trump and his fascist agenda should absolutely be pushed out. I don't see the issue with holding people accountable. Accountable for what? Accountable for voting? If you think that Trump is more of an authoritarian than any president in the last 20 years, you're just wrong. It's objectively not true. You can cherry pick examples. It's not true. There's a lot of things you could say you don't like about Trump. Is he mean? Does he say mean things on Twitter? But does that make him a fascist? People were saying that it's insane. And so it doesn't matter, though. Honestly, it shouldn't matter. If you don't like a president, how do you then jump to saying you're going to hold accountable through blacklist his supporters? And so Neon says, almost half the country voted for him. That's a lot of people to push out. The response is cancel culture and holding people accountable for being racist pieces of garbage are not the same. This is how it works. You change words, you use words in a different way, and then you get your way. That's how it works. Call it fascism, and then it can be evil. Cancel culture, you find out most people don't like cancel culture. So now the terminology is going to be changed to holding people accountable. It's the same thing. So at the same time, while Dan Slott is enjoying himself, and while everything around you can agree with your politics, you have absolutely no clue. You're so out of touch with major portions of your fan base. And then you wonder why sales aren't going so well. You wonder why you have to depend on manga sales to make the industry look good. Uh, you wonder why, and you're going to ride out into the darkness proudly. You're going to burn this thing down proudly because you're so comfortable in your situation, because you finally have everything you've ever wanted. And yet, I have a feeling it's still not going to be enough. You're still going to be very, very, very sad and very upset. And I feel for anybody working in the comic book industry right now. If you supported Trump, or even if you just didn't support Biden, I feel for you. It's I don't see it getting better, not at all, not with rhetoric like this happening. And there's still going to be the same kind of anxiety that they build up. They bounce ideas off of each other, and they're just going to make life more miserable. Man, is that a sad video or what? I have every intention to move on and just be making comics. Luckily, the indie market is here, and luckily, you don't need any of these gatekeepers. You just need people to be interested in buying the books. That's all it comes down to. If they support your book, there's a pathway forward. That's what it comes down to. Anyway, so thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, don't forget Downcast and Fatal, both on Indiegogo right now. Especially Fatal, guys. I really want to get this to 100K because that would mean a lot. That's a big deal. I know a lot of people are holding off because you'd like to wait last minute. But I'll tell you, production is moving forward. We're trying out another colorist. I've got high hopes. I've got high hopes for this colorist. We'll see. But yeah, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.